she wore a yellow ribbon.
She wore.
She wore a yellow ribbon in the merry month of May. And when I asked why she wore that ribbon, she said it's for the Arsenal kind of Wembley. Horse, you can't sing anymore, but listen, we've got into the moment now. We've won the FA Cup. Listen, I still got to pinch myself. Listen, guys, I'm just going to go straight in on this one. I'm going to go straight in on this one. Claude, I'm going to start with you. You was at the game on Saturday. What an incredible day.
Oh, incredible. I mean, we all started partying before in the Green Man. Had a big drink up, got to the ground. All expectations were going to win it. And then 10 minutes into the game, we're 2-0 down, and I just... I looked to my right, faces down, heads down. Talk of Wenger's last game, and then the free kick, Sandy Cazorla brought us back into the game. You know, gave us all that hope again. Then it was that second half. I thought in the second half we were starting to get into slowly but surely we're getting into it. And I thought if we get that second, once we get that second, we'll go on and win quite comfortably. And then when we got the second goal, I thought, but they held out. I give Hull a lot of credit. They gave us a really good game, and their tactic. As I said before the game, I said I knew they'd change their tactics. I knew it'd be a different game to the league game.
I mean, their tactics were that they were really, really direct. I mean, I remember the game when we played them at their place, and they tried to play a lot of football that day. Yeah. But on Saturday, they were very Stoke-esque.
Yeah. Well, not only that, Rob. Also, they knew our weaknesses at set pieces, and they exploited it. They put the ball into the box, and they exploited our weaknesses at set pieces, and they done everything right. And then, I mean, in the second half, I think their players tired. And what made the difference in extra time was that we could bring on Rosicky, bring on Wiltshire, fresh players. They didn't have that freshness that we had, and that swung it in the end. I think Wenger took the gamble though, because he took a couple of good penalty takers off, and he went for it. But in the end, it paid off, and the cup is ours, mate.
You got to say when he does something like that, because I thought that at the time when he took off Santi Cazorla, Ozil, they're all penalty takers, and I was thinking, ooh, what if it goes to penalties? But full credit to Arsene Wenger, because he got his tactics right. He was like, listen, we ain't going to no penalties, we're going to finish the game right now. I mean, let me go to you, Jack. Where did you watch the game?
I watched the game in this small town in northern Ontario because my family was out for a holiday, and I had to drive an hour to find a small bar to watch the match. Unfortunately, only me and my family with the atmosphere in that bar, so it wasn't the most exciting, but the game made up for it for sure. And Brandon and I were actually discussing at the halftime hangout, he wanted to bring on Rosicky and Wilshere, but the difference between Moran and Arsene Wenger, Moran would have thrown him on in the 70th minute. Instead of Arsene Wenger, the genius, he's going to bring him on right before the start of the second half in extra time. And that really made the difference. And I think the timing of the substitutions were just as important as the actual substitutions themselves. Obviously, Yaya Sanogo, he made a difference going to 4-4-2. Podolski wasn't offering much at all that match. And not only did Sanogo play well himself, but he really improved the play of the likes of Giroud up top. He looked like a different player with the second striker supporting him.
It's interesting you say that, because I travelled down with Mo. I know you guys have seen Mo on the film. And we was having a real argument yesterday about Sanogo. I thought Sanogo had a really good game. He was like, oh, he was just average. I was like, he came on and he really changed the game. I mean, he all of a sudden he was offering stuff down the channels. He turned a couple of players. Unlucky not to score also.
Yeah. Well, I think with Sanogo, I think it's going to be just like Aaron Ramsey a couple of years ago. Like Arsene Wenger said, once he starts scoring, I think it'll continue. But who knows? It could take another year, or it could be the next match or it could be another 3 years. You just never know with the talent that raw. But
he's definitely a prospect, isn't he?
Yeah, and I think a season-long loan for him would do wonders, just more game time. I think he's one of those players that didn't really start playing till, I have no idea, but it looks like he just hasn't been playing the game as long as other people have.
Well,
And
we've got
just
to remember, listen, he's a young kid.
yeah.
He's come in, he's playing on the biggest stage, and I thought he done very well, definitely when he came out. Let me go to you, Charlie. I know, well, tell us where you watched the game. Where did you watch the game, first of all?
I ended up having to go and watch the game at the Emirates screening instead because, you know, it was circumstances, so I ended up giving my ticket.
Yeah, tell us about the Emirates screening. How many people were there, and what was the atmosphere like?
There was 30,000 Gooners there, and to be honest, I thought we were making more noise than you guys were at Wembley, man. I mean,
I don't think so.
I thought it was the prices of the tickets, so like the corporates weren't just as loud, but you know, it was a better atmosphere. We ended up invading the pitch in the end, but yeah, it was a good game, but it was typical Arsenal fashion, wasn't it? We had to give ourselves a mountain to climb because Hull went up two goals, and we had to come back from 2 goals. I mean, within the 10 minutes, people started arguing and debating about the flipping elections rather than what was going on the pitch. So it was all confusing game. But as soon as that Santi Cazorla free kick went in, I just knew that we were destined to win the cup. But I thought we were going to win it in regular time. And then
how good an achievement is that? Because it's very rare, as I said, that you see a team go 2 goals down in a cup final and come back. I mean, you don't even normally see that in the league or anything, but it's very rare in a cup final because, you know, it's very hard to break down teams, as we know.
Yeah, because we'd said it earlier on in the season that, yes, we might have done them in the league twice, but every cup final game is different. We thought we were just going to simply turn up and park the bus, but we never expected them to be actually ready to actually, like, you know, give us a run for our money and be prepared to play. So full credit to the players, full credit to Wenger, and hopefully this is the first of many cups.
Let me go to you, Moran. Where did you watch it?
Well, I watched in the basement of my own home with a few friends of mine, and the beginning of the game really is, I took a lot of criticism, a lot of hate, you know, with the early, lead that Hull City had. But credit to the squad. They really didn't collapse like in previous matches, where, you know, early leads for the other team usually meant our downfall. But I was impressed by our mentality during the early part of the match. I think Koscielny, he was up there for man of the match. I think he always scores a big goal when we need him. You see, in the previous years, at the end of the season, he's the one who comes up big in big moments. Mrzak had a solid outing. The whole back four was very impressive, and it was just, I can't really say much apart from what you all have said. It was just great to see the lads come back.
I mean, how important was that goal line clearance by Kieran Gibbs? I mean, where they could have went 3 up.
That could have sealed the game right there, really early on. I think right when Cazorla scored his free kick not too long after that clearance, so it really could have paid dividends if they got that 3rd goal. Credit to Gibbs to getting it off the line. And what else can I say? It was great to see them come back from an early deficit.
Makes up for that howler he missed.
At 2-0, right? At 2-0, Moran, was you thinking to yourself, it's going to be one of those days. We're not going to win this.
It's funny you say that because I felt like when we were down 2-0, I felt like there's no way we could see it end this early. We came with a great run, beating, you know, top Premier League sides, the hurdle with the Wigan in the semi-final. I felt like there's no way it could have ended that early. But then the match kept playing on and on. We didn't get that second for a while, so my nerves really started to play a role with me. But thankfully, Koscielny came up big.
Yeah, he came up real big. Let me just go to a few, just before I get back to the guys, let's go to a few of the comments here. D. Clark says, Sanogo is a workhorse. If he can sort out the coordination of his feet when he gets the ball, he'll be a great player in years to come. As I said, I think Sanogo did really well when he came on. Young player. He caused no end of problems to Hull's defence. Lucian Britt said, we need to play that formation more often. We have enough quality in the midfield to boss with only 4 midfielders. Also, that Sonogo strike was fantastic. Just 6 inches the wrong way. Very unlucky with that Sonogo. I think that could have really given him lift off. Mr. Studge HC said, we have such a talented squad. I knew we would follow it through. If we could get a world-class striker and a central defensive midfielder, people underestimate the Arsenal. I think if we strengthen in the transfer market, we can challenge in European football. What do you think? We'll get to that later on. Ibradin99 just says simply champions. D. Clark also says, I feel Riziki was the game changer. He gave us energy and more pace in our football. I mean, let me go to you again, Claude. Listen, this, you know, we got to look at this. Not only the FA Cup win, it's been an excellent FA Cup win because the teams that we've beaten on the way to get there, Tottenham, Liverpool, Everton. I mean, thinking back to that Liverpool game, remember, they'd just beaten us 5-1 the week before. So it would have been very easy to have got another tonking off of them. Claude, what did you think?
Oh, no.
The way we got to there.
Oh, no, the FA Cup run's been absolutely brilliant. We've not really made any apart from the first 10 minutes of the final, we've done really well. I mean, you can't fault the run at all. I mean, I'll tell you Saturday, I mean, altogether, I think if we'd have had Ramsey and Walcott fit, we could have gone very, very close to that double, mate. You might laugh at me. But
no, I'm not. Listen, I agree with you on that.
Hey?
I said I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that, definitely.
It would have been touch and go. I'm sure because I think those players are so vital, so important. Aaron Ramsey, mate, when he just came up to the crunch, he's got that knack of doing it, isn't he? I mean, what a player. He's phenomenal. I'm making one of the top 5 in Europe, midfield players in Europe at the moment. No,
and considering, when we consider that, you know, last year, you know, the problems that he had, but he's really come to the fore.
Well, the problems he had last year, I mean, yeah, he had a lot of problems with injuries, and it took him a while to get back into it. But now he's developed into such a great player. I think he's a phenomenal player. And I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, we won't sell him, but I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of teams come in with big bids for him this summer.
Yeah, well, they can get lost. They're not going to have him, that's for sure. Listen, Cameron's just jumped in. How you doing, Cameron? All the way. First of all, I want to find out, where did you watch the game, Cameron? Over there in Los Angeles. Where did you watch it?
I actually watched it at home with my granddad. I was supposed to watch it at the pub, you know, the LA Gooners pub, but I just was like, basically we had to get tickets because the pub was going to be overcrowded, and I didn't even know until last minute. So I had to pay, you know, $10 to get in, and apparently it was too late. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to watch it at home. And I had, you know, good view at home. At least in the pub, view would have probably been blocked. But yeah.
Now listen, at 2-0 down, was you thinking to yourself, like, it's time to switch over onto something else?
Oh man, I 1-0. I was like, okay. I was like, not too surprised. You know, I was like, all right, my surprise, 1-0 down. I'm not like too surprised. I'm sure a lot of other Gooners weren't. It was it was kind of shocking in a way, but not really. And then the second goal, then I was like, what the hell? You know, like this is crazy now. You know, and but thankfully they scored 2 really early goals. And it wasn't like the second goal at the 45th minute, something like that. So it kind of, you know, snapped these guys into reality, you know, and they came good.
Came good, and you know, such a big win for Arsenal, and you could see the relief on Arsene Wenger's face at the end. Yeah,
man. You know me, Robbie. I'm an Arsene Wenger guy, and I was just so happy for him, you know, as well as for the fans and the players, but especially for him, because I just thought over the years, you know, the stick he's been getting was very unnecessary. So finally, you know, he's, you know, got an all-important major trophy under his belt, and I think it's great for this team as well. So yeah, it was just really, it was actually kind of touching to see, because you could, like the cameras were all on him. I don't know what, you know, it was the Sky was shown in the UK or ITV or whatever, but like in LA, like on NBC or Fox when it was showing it. It was all the cameras were on him as soon as the whistle blew to the time he lifted the trophy. Yeah.
I mean, same question sort of for you, Jack. I mean, how good was it to see Arsene Wenger being thrown up, tossed up into the air, everybody running up to him? Podolski got a bottle of champagne and threw it all over him.
Yeah,
I mean, it must have felt good, Wenger.
Oh, it was brilliant. There's so many different moments after we won the cup that was great. One that I'll remember would be when each player was lifting up the cup, and then it got to Koscielny, and you know he pointed over to Mertesacker and he said, "I'm not lifting this without you," and they both lifted up together as the center back pairing. I thought that was awesome. And just seeing the joy in every single player's face, because it means so much to lots of different people. If you're an up-and-coming player like Jack Wilshere or Aaron Ramsey, winning your first cup is great. And then if you're a more experienced player like Bakary Sagna, Thomas Rosicky, you've been with the club for a while, you've been through their struggles, and then just to win the cup, it must feel so great. But going back to what Claude said about Aaron Ramsey, in that extra time, I know he took a couple of shots that just went blazing over the bar, but you could just see that he wanted to score that goal. And he was going to shoot from 30 yards out. Thankfully, he got shot inside the box, and I think Giroud needs to get some credit for that deft back heel as well. Just putting that out there.
Does it show how important Aaron Ramsey is now? I'm going to put this to Moran. Does it show how important a player Aaron Ramsey is now to the squad? The fact that Mesut Ozil was taken off, and Cazorla was taken off. And in all fairness, Ramsey hadn't had the greatest of games until we got to extra time. He had a lot of long-range shots that had gone wide. A lot of his 1-2s weren't really coming off. But Wenger obviously knows that he's the man for the big occasion at the moment.
Oh yeah, he makes everyone around him better, no matter who it is. I noticed during the match, some of his long balls were actually, he exhibited it really well. He really showcased that, and he showed a lot of runs, you know, dribbling through the Hull City players. He really wanted to come up in the big occasion. If only he stayed healthy during the season, potentially we could have stayed up there at the top of the table. What more can I say? He's a tremendous talent.
And for you, Charlie, I mean, listen, you was there, you was watching it at the Emirates Stadium. Now, how were fans thinking after the game, after the sort of celebrations died down? Were fans, do you think, thinking to themselves, this could be the start of many?
Yeah, there was a lot of fans saying how we'd moved from Highbury to the Emirates, and they said the only difference was that Highbury actually had soul. We had so much history there, but the Emirates is fairly new, so hopefully this will start a new revolution to, like, you know, garner cups. And personally, I thought, you know, the players are gonna have this confidence. They know what it's like to win. Seems like Wenger was very happy, and I'm actually very happy for him as well. But that being said, we actually need to strengthen in the summer. There's no excuses now as to like why we go to clubs and then put up take it or leave it prices, and then, you know, another club comes in and steals players, aka Napoli. So hopefully those days are gone and we actually start being serious in the market and going on to win and hopefully challenge for more cups as well.
Yeah, I mean, Charlie, do you think that this is now those players? I mean, I don't know if you was at the victory parade yesterday. You was there? Yeah. Absolutely incredible, the amount of fans out on the street. I mean, you know, I went down to Highbury Corner, first of all, to catch the bus. And, you know, I had to, it was absolutely mobbed. And then, luckily, I got back to the ground in time because they actually locked it. There were so many people there that they actually locked off all the entrances to the ground, so no more people come through. I mean, those players driving around on that bus and seeing how many people was out on the road. The estimated figure was 250,000 out on the road to celebrate Arsenal winning that cup. Those players, surely that's going to inspire them to say, you know what, we want to have some more of this.
It's going to inspire them because from what I hear, back for Chelsea's Champions League parade, even they only managed to attract 80,000, and there was still empty streets. You know what I mean? So hopefully they're winners now, and if they're not inspired by this, then I really don't know what will inspire them. So hopefully, as I said earlier on, it's the start of many.
Claude, what about you? Was you at the parade yesterday? Was you at the victory parade?
Yeah, I was. I went to the. I walked all the way down and got my position right by the town hall.
Okay.
So I got by the town hall.
What was it like? You know what? I couldn't even get nowhere near the town hall.
No,
So what
I
was
walked
it like
about
down the town hall?
I walked about an hour and a half before and walked down and got planted myself outside the town hall. And then I just waited there until the players arrived, and then I walked back. It was good. It was good, and there was a few speeches outside there. It was really good. But as you said, look at Chelsea. I mean, they got, as he said, Charlie said, 90,000, and we got 250,000. It's incredible, incredible. We're the best fans in London, biggest team in London. I don't care if they won the Champions League. We're the biggest club.
Biggest club. You're going to want to see the biggest players. Now,
yes,
as you're saying, 250,000 people come out onto the streets yesterday. Only 90,000 when Chelsea won the Champions League. I'd say if we won the Champions League, there'd be about 1 million people out on the streets. I mean, remember that parade was just literally the day after. Now, actually, before I move to that question, what also struck me was this sort of propaganda that was going around the week before, sort of stirred up by a lot of the media, where they were trying to make out like Arsenal were being really presumptuous that they're going to win the cup, putting out signs already, the council, about a victory procession. Now, surely yesterday proved the fact that you've got to, if 250,000 people are going to come out onto the streets and you've got to close loads of streets down, you've got to let people know in advance, Claude.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they thought. I think what they didn't say is possible. I think there was signs saying it possible as well, which was cut out of the media. See, so they build it all up. I think it's another knock at this club. They like to knock our club, but our club is class. Our club is very classy, mate. Even yesterday, I mean, even when we lifted the cup, the class to let Van Aalen take that, to lift the trophy,
Yeah.
He's not been playing all season, but he's our club captain, and they let him lift the trophy. And that's what I call class. We're a class club.
Let me go to Cameron. Listen, as I was saying, Cameron, obviously I know you wouldn't have been out on the streets yesterday, but just to describe it, it was absolutely incredible. I mean, I don't know if you saw any of the videos that we've done, or if you've seen any of the stuff on Arsenal.com. And incredible scenes. I mean, 250,000 people out on the streets, and I'll tell you, it was like a carnival atmosphere out there yesterday. I mean, did you get to see any of that?
Yeah, I did. I've also got a few mates who sent me, on their Instagram. You saw the posting videos and stuff, and I wish I could have been there, man. It just seemed like one big party, it just it's really good to see that everyone came together. Everyone's happy. All the fans are happy. They deserve that after all these years. And I actually remembered when when we signed Mesut Ozil, you interviewed Matthew Bazell, the book writer, and he was saying that when we signed Ozil, it was like a little mini parade, right? Everyone was going crazy, everyone was just celebrating like we had just won the league, and there was a lot of fans outside. And I remember him saying specifically, like, this should be a message to the board, like, look, if you sign these players, just imagine what it must be like when you win a trophy. And we won an FA Cup. I mean, like you said, God knows what would happen when we win a league or when we win a Champions League. So I think this is it was a great thing. It was great to see the club. I was happy that the board can see the kind of support that they have, that the supporters have for this club, the love that they have, and hopefully they'll be inspired to maybe go on this summer and say, Arsene, here, mate. I mean, the reports are he has 100 million, but really to like push it. Here you go, mate. Like sign a Cavani, sign a Javi Martinez. Sign both. You know, let's go after a Champions League. Let's go after a league. You know, this is what we want to see. And I'm sure as I'm not trying to deviate, but like as a club, they'll see that, you know, shirt sales right now and merchandise sales are probably going through the roof after this win. So you know what I mean? It's all relative. It's, you know, so hopefully I mean, I know it's going to be a catalyst to more success in the future.
Catalyst of more success, Moran, you think?
Oh yeah, for sure. They realize the title-winning mentality is back at Arsenal. The drought is over. The players are gonna want more. This is FA Cup. This is just small. This is small compared to the Premier League, Champions League. These players are gonna gun for more bigger opportunities. So people are gonna expect top players coming to Arsenal now, since they know that we're back being a top challenging squad in English football.
Is this and the same to you, Jack? Is this the change? Is this like going to herald a change at Arsenal, or will Arsene Wenger say, "Look, you see, the players I've got were good enough to win the FA Cup, and I've got players coming back. Diaby's back. I don't need to buy no one."
No, I think he knows this is the time to strike, because I think it's really the tip of the iceberg. Because if you look at the squad that we've had, we've only really had the core group of players for 1 or 2 years. Like, this hasn't been the squad that's lost for 9 years. Sure, we might have 1 or 2 players from those squads, Sani or Rosicky, but there are more experienced players that work hard anyways. But if you look at the core, Cazorla's only been here for 2 years. Ozil's only been here for 1 year. Podolski 2, and up-and-coming players, Chamberlain, Ramsey, Wilshere. They haven't really experienced the pain, and it's really just the tip of the iceberg, I think. And once they get that first taste of success, they won't stop eating.
We go to a few of the comments here. We got Dylan Walsh here. He said, "I think Giroud should get an honourable mention. He assisted the winning goal and did a great hold-up play and almost scored 2 goals. Wenger now has to sign a world-class striker." And he says Benzema or Jackson Martinez. Not sure if we could say Jackson Martinez is world-class yet. He's been banging in the goals over there in Portugal. Nicholas Matson says Ramsey has impressed me a lot this season. He never stops running, and he'll be even better next season. Hugh Wizzy, yes, good to see you, Wizzy. I sent him a tweet earlier. I said I would just love to have seen Hugh Wizzy's face, right, at the end of that game, because I know that I've been to matches with that guy. I know he's a very emotional guy. I would have paid money to have seen him at the end of that game. But he said he's there and he's singing Arsene Wenger's magic. He wears his magic hat. I mean, so pleased for Arsene Wenger I was. You know, as I said, he's taken so much stick this year, and you know, he kind of, I wouldn't exactly say he had the last laugh, because he has made a lot of mistakes, but he's won with a trophy. And listen, guys, I'm going to ask you all this quickly. Does he deserve his new contract that we've been told he's going to sign? Moran, does he deserve the new contract?
I think he has. I think obviously this season there's been some downfall, but you look at the past 3 seasons, you know, with all the departures he's had, he's still maintained Champions League football. He's still maximized the potential of players like Ramsey, like a Chamberlain. So I think just based on, you know, body of work, resume, he deserves a new contract.
What about you, Charlie? You did have some doubts a few weeks about Arsene Wenger. I think I remember you saying Arsene Wenger should go.
Yeah.
What are you saying now? Still, or, I mean, there are some people, you know, there are some people who are saying, listen, all right, he's won that. Time to walk now. You can walk off with your head held high. You won a trophy. But now we need someone else. But what are you saying at this moment in time?
But something that Hangout earlier on in the season, I was preaching to, you know, give the man a chance to, you know, to reap his rewards for keeping us in Champions League and sticking by us for the past 9 years. And I think we should give the man what he deserves, man. I think the 3-year contract, you might as well just like win us the last couple of silverwares, and then, you know, wave goodbye to the club and move him upstairs. But for now, I just think he's the right man to lead us forward. For now, though. For now.
For now, till the next game, yeah? When he loses, then go out. What about you, Claude? You've been somebody who's been sort of a bit uncertain of Arsene Wenger, whether we should keep him in or not. Has he done enough by winning the trophy, winning an FA Cup, and getting us into the Champions League for next season? Has he done enough, you think, to keep his job?
First of all, I will say he's made a few. I must say he's made a few mistakes this year, but the man is a classy guy, and that I will say. He has to change his ways in certain aspects. He's got to he's got to try and change his
mentality,
his tactical side of his game a bit more. He's got to there was games this season where we were playing Chelsea and Liverpool and Man City, where if we'd have played like we did against Dortmund, I think we would have got results. We've got to adapt our game to certain opposition, and he's got to be less stubborn. But no, I think he should be given another chance. Yeah, yeah, I think he deserves that on what he's achieved. I mean, let's face it. I mean, after the what was it? The Everton game. We were looking at the Champions League, and he's actually lifted the club. From there, he could have completely sunk. The whole thing could have absolutely sunk. But he actually steadied the ship, and you've got to give the man credit for that. A lot of credit for that. He steadied it, and he made us go on to win the FA Cup. And they've got hold. The man in certain ways is a genius in that respect. But there's a lot of things he's got to do next season that needs to be changed.
I mean, Claude, you know what I was thinking of? Like, I was sort of making the comparison a bit like Fergie, when Alex Ferguson, probably about 5-6 years ago, when he was at Man United and then won nothing, people were starting to say time for him to go. He's getting a bit too old, and then he won something again, came back, and then he just started winning and winning and winning. Could this be the same with Arsene Wenger, you think?
Yeah, he can, but as I said, he's got to change. And what I loved about this season is the two gentlemen in the game have won the trophies this year. The two gentlemen, Pellegrini, what a gentleman. Never chatted about other clubs. He got on with his own job. And the same with Arsene. I mean, they're two great gentlemen, and I'm glad they stuffed it down Mourinho, who. He might have beaten us 6-0. They might have done that. Well, what have they won this year? Nothing. 2 years he hasn't won, Mourinho. You're the failure, mate. You are the failure.
Specialist failure. Yeah.
What about you, Jack?
Yeah, for no doubt, for sure. The way I look at it is, I guess each season he's building a foundation. Say you're building a house, and the foundation has kind of been taken away from him in the previous years with the loss of key players, but now he's built a firm foundation, and with years to come, I no doubt I think we can go out and win some more things, because with all the talent we have up and coming, and as you said, Robbie, just a couple additions will be right there, a couple world-class additions, and I think you said it in a previous Hangout, we should kind of take the Bayern Munich model where we develop our own world-class players, but once in a while add one or two, and I think we're starting to develop world-class players in the likes of Ramsey, Wilson Chamberlain, and as you said, we just need one or two more additions, and we'll be right there.
I know it's a stupid question to ask you, Cameron, because you've always been, even in the dark days of 6-0, 5-1, 3-0, 6-3, you still stuck by him. You still had faith in Arsene Wenger. Has he been vindicated?
Yeah, I mean, I think what I've always said was this is a trajectory. You know, we're going to start. You know, we're on a path to big things, and this is a start. And I just knew, last year I think we overachieved with 4th place, and then I think this season we not necessarily overachieved with 4th place, but we we showed a lot of promise. A lot of good stats to take. So as the 100 and something days at the top. And then, of course, the FA Cup, the major trophy that everyone was crying out. And I think, one thing Wenger did, he proved a lot of people wrong, as far as some people thought would say that, he can't win. He doesn't have it anymore in him. He doesn't have that leadership to win things. He's not used to anymore. And he's done that. People said, oh, he doesn't care about FA Cup. He doesn't take that serious. prove them wrong. You know, even with signings, Wenger won't sign, Wenger won't spend, he won't get a guy like Mesut Ozil, and he's done that. So I think it's more positives to look at with Arsene Wenger than the negatives. You know, if he can
changing then, because he can be a pretty stubborn guy. I mean, you know, he did sign Mesut Ozil, but I think the whole world, every fan, every pundit, everybody knew that we needed a striker, and he didn't sign a striker. It may be because he thought to himself, the two strikers he went after, those are the sort of quality he wanted, and that wasn't available. But he didn't sign anyone, and we did pay a price in the league for that.
Yeah, we did. You know, the way I look at it is, I think it was more of a effed up situation. Excuse my French, not you know, more of a screwed up situation for us. I mean, you know, there's Higuain and then Suarez. Higuain just was. We made a mistake with that. Suarez, you know, we actually weren't wrong in pursuing him. There was a transfer clause, and Liverpool weren't trying to sell him. And then after that, you know, Cavani, Falcao already at PSG at Monaco. I don't know, man. You know, yeah, I agree. If we had a striker, we would have probably won a double, you know. But I just think it was one of those things. It's like even in January, there was no one really we could have just signed, you know what I mean? It sounds easy, you know, but I guess it's really not that easy. I think you know, we have a great opportunity this summer to sign someone big. We have the money. Before I used to be like, Cavani, no way, but now I'm like, we can sign a Cavani. We can compete with Chelsea and Man City. Arsene Wenger's admitted it. The club has admitted it. We know the funds are there. So I just definitely think it's better days ahead, and I think Arsene Wenger, you know, this season we needed a defensive mid, right, and we needed a striker. I think with striker, obviously we couldn't fill in that position. Defensive mid, I think Flamini was more of like a stopgap just for one season. You know, we needed one kind of like an emergency defensive mid. We got Flamini. I think this summer we're going to go back in hard for like a Bender or a Javi Martinez. You know, one of those type of defensive mids, and of course a striker as well. So
I mean, 0058 says I still don't think Wenger's the man to take us forward. He says, I say that with the utmost respect and admiration of Wenger. I guess we'll see next season how he does in the market and versus the big teams. I hope he proves us wrong. I mean, Cameron, he didn't do very well against the big teams, but ultimately he's got us into the Champions League and he's won us a trophy. And I want to ask all you guys this: is this a successful season? Cameron, is this a successful season?
Yes, this is a success. In my opinion, this is a successful season. Last season we got 4th place by the skin of our teeth, and we weren't in any kind of real contention for any trophies. This season we got 4th place comfortably, somewhat comfortably, but we have a lot of positives. We spent 100 and I forgot the exact number, but 100-something days at the top of the league. There was a lot of positives to take. 128, you said? Yeah. So there you go. That's positives to take. And we've got a major trophy, which is a huge psychological barrier that we came over. One thing is getting to the final. Everyone's saying Arsenal chokers. They choke. They're this. We overcame that. That's huge right there. And I think next season we're going to go one step further.
Successful season for you, Moran?
I'd say so. I'd say before the season. I'd say after the Aston Villa game, the way things are shaping, I think it's by far a successful season. I think ask any Gooner that top 4 in a FA Cup is reasonable to see as successful. And just looking at it, just injuries aside, we could have been challenging for the top of the table. The injury to Walcott was brutal, to Wilshere, to a few other players, Ozil. So as long as we can keep them off the IR, hopefully have a healthy season ahead, we should be right there next season.
What about you, Charlie? Successful season?
Yeah, I think it's more than a successful season, because if you'd have come up to me after the game against Aston Villa and gone, you're going to qualify 4th and you're going to win a trophy, I probably would have slapped you back of the head. But either way, just because you've got that trophy monkey off our backs, I think, yeah, it's been a successful season, because as Moran said, Cameron said, we qualified for Champions League last season by the skin of our teeth, and to be in this position again this year would have been unacceptable. But we got the trophy. That's the most important thing. So yeah, I think it's a very successful season.
What about you, Jack?
Yeah, I definitely think it's a successful season as well, because last year, as Cameron said, we got there in the skin of our teeth, but 4th place this year was more of a consolation prize after failing for the title. And going back, Rob, I forget who you did an interview with, so I think you were sitting beside him in the match, on the match on the weekend.
Coogan.
Yeah, and he was going through the teams that, because really, what's the difference between finishing 2nd and 4th and 3rd and 4th as long as you have Champions League football, right? And what did Liverpool win? Nothing. What did Chelsea win? They won nothing. They didn't win the league. We won the FA Cup. I think we had a better season than they did. Obviously, they finished ahead of us, but we have trophies. They don't.
And you, Claude? I mean, what made me laugh, Claude, today is I heard, I think it was Jason Cundy. He's obviously very leans towards Chelsea, but he was saying, oh yeah, well, they won a trophy, but Chelsea won a trophy last season. But really and truly, you think of that trophy that Chelsea did win last season, Europa League, that was only because they'd got knocked out of the first stage and group stages of the Champions League that they could even be in that. So we wouldn't even have had a chance of going in that because we went further in the Champions League than them. So really a bit of a false trophy that was last year. Arsenal have won a trophy this year. Finished 4th place. Is that success, Claude?
Even for someone as fussy as me, and you know how fussy I am, this has been a successful season. And as Jack just said, and he's taken the words straight out of my mouth, would Chelsea and Liverpool swap their season for ours? I don't think so.
Definitely, I think that's what. And I think the other thing we got to remember, I was also looking back the other day. I was doing a bit of research because we're putting together a program where we do like a season's review, and we're going to do that with featuring a lot of the videos that we had throughout the season, which some of them include Claude, as you all know, right? And the really interesting thing for me was at the start of last season, at the start of this season, how everybody was rating how it was going to finish. And I can tell you, I mean, you guys may not remember that most of the journalists and that thought that Arsenal wouldn't even make the top 4. They all had Tottenham ahead of Arsenal. They was all, you know, getting excited about the players that Tottenham had brought in and the money that they'd spent and how brilliantly Daniel Levy had done by replacing Bale and how they'd gone out and got, you know, how their squad was much better than Arsenal's. And that's been, you know, completely blown out of the water. So you've got to say that Arsenal have really made some serious steps.
For me?
Sorry?
Me?
Yeah, yeah.
You're asking me, yeah?
Yeah, yeah. So
sorry.
At the start of the season.
Yeah, well, you know,
start of the season, you know, being written off.
You know how confident I was at the start of the season, didn't you, with my video? Listen. No, I think we've done really. I think we've been brilliant. We had that dodgy bit. I mean, where we had the injuries. I still say if we had Ramsey and Walcott fit for all of the season, we would have. I'm sure we would have won this league. You know. It's just that we had. That's another thing I want next season. We got to get this medical room sorted out, mate. It's just something's got to be sorted because these injuries, other clubs are getting their players back a lot fitter before we are, and I think that's got to be sorted next season, mate. But overall, I think this has been it's been a successful season because we've won the cup, mate. And as I said, everyone keeps saying, every year when we don't win anything, we finish 4th. It's not about finishing 4th. Now we've won a trophy. That's what matters, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. One thing I want to add right there is like all the discussion about would you rather have 4th place or a trophy. I think that yesterday just proves that the trophies is what it's all about. The joy, the emotion that was in the match, then the parade afterwards. That you got to go with a trophy over 4th place, and that was just absolutely fantastic.
All right, guys, listen.
Yeah.
We're coming towards the end of this year. Well, the season's done. I don't, before what was going to happen now, we're going to break into the transfer market season, where it all goes a bit mental over transfer. So what I decided to do was give each of you guys £100 million to spend. Right, so that's your budget. You've got £100 million to spend, and you could also take a look at our squad right now, and £100 million to spend, and you can buy 3 players. You can buy 3 players with that £100 million to add to the squad that we've already got. I want to know who you bring in to make Arsenal a team that can win the title next season. I'm going to start off with you, Moran. Remember, you've got £100 million. Don't waste it now. Yeah? All right. 3 players that you can add to the Arsenal squad to make us win the title next season. Who would you bring in?
And don't say the Iranian Messi, all right?
So
who are you going to bring in?
I think the bulk of that money would have to go towards a striker. So I'd say, because we're having this Puma partnership, I think either Balotelli or Falcao would seem like a logical choice, either one of the two. I think.
Balotelli.
I think.
Do you think Balotelli at Arsenal? Do you think? I don't know. He's a great player, but would they be able to put up with all the shenanigans that go with him?
But can you name me another manager other than Arsene Wenger that could? I think Wenger's the perfect one to mentor him. I think someone like a Merzakin can really keep his head straight, keep someone like Balotelli's head straight. So I think it would be a perfect environment for Balotelli to contain himself.
Okay, you got Balotelli. Give me another.
I've heard good things about the guy from Southampton, Schneiderlin. I've heard good things about him. He's had a good season. If the ones for like Javi Martinez and Lars Bender don't work out, I think Schneiderlin would be a good choice, or Arturo Vidal from Juventus would be another good choice. And then I'd say this one would be probably a right back. That's Serge Aurier from the French league. I'm not too sure. I think it's Saint Etienne he plays for. He's an Ivorian. I'm pretty sure he's an Ivorian. So I think he's an up and coming right back. So he'd be a good fit too.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go to Charlie.
Well,
you look like you. What are you doing? What are you doing there? Googling or something? I see him there. No googling, mate. Listen, you've got £100 million to spend. You can't be out there googling or checking out FIFA and stuff like that. I want to know. You're right.
There's too much choice from me. There's too much choice, man.
In the morning, mate. You're going to basically, you've got to spend money wisely. Now, listen. Give me 3 players. Give me 3 players that you'll bring in.
Cavani, striker. Javi Martinez, midfielder. Yeah. And then, as regards to the Sanya issue, I'd probably give Seamus Coleman a go because he's been flying for Everton this season. So those would be my 3 players.
Seamus Coleman, Javi Martinez, and Cavani. We ain't gonna have money left. We're not gonna have much money left out of that £100 million. That's gonna be all gone.
You're probably gonna have £5 million left from that, and you could probably buy I don't know, maybe Shane Long from Hull City.
Right. Let's go, Jack.
All right. I'd drop $30 million on Javi Martinez any day. I think he's the perfect player that we need. I'll go. I'm not too sure about what I think about Cavani at Arsenal. Part of me just doesn't see it working out necessarily to the best. Someone told me he's going through a nasty divorce at the moment. That's not a good situation. But obviously he's a good player, but I just don't know if it'd be the right fit. So let's just go Cavani, Martinez, and then I'm gonna go with Alexis Sanchez or Pedro as a winger.
Can I have 3?
Barca. I'll go Sanchez because I know Barcelona's looking to sell at least one of their wingers. So probably Alexis Sanchez.
Sanchez. Hold on a second. Sanchez on the right. Is it a right winger or a left winger? I can never quite tell with him.
I think he's a left. Well, if Pedro, you bring up a good point. We'd probably want a left winger instead of a right winger. Because because we have Theo, obviously. So whichever one of the two's a left winger, I'm not too sure at the moment. But both of them, I think, are world-class forwards. So either one of the two.
Okay. 100 mil. Gonna go Claude. 100 mil, Claude.
100 mil. Let's have a look. Karim Benzema.
Don't get sacked. You better spend this money wisely. Don't waste the money. Don't be like, you know, certain managers. Don't be like the Tottenham mob and waste this 100 million. You've got to spend this money wisely. Now, who are you going to bring in, Claude?
Karim Benzema. How much will I have got left now?
Yeah.
Benzema, you probably got about 70 million left, I'd say. No. Well, yeah, 65 million left.
Now, this one I'll go for, but I'm not sure whether Sanya's going to stay either. We pay Sanya the money to stay, or we buy Aurier.
Yeah.
That's
I think Sanya's
my next one.
But can I just add something on the Sanya thing? Apparently, we're offering him 3 years at 80,000 a week, whereas Man City are offering 150,000 at 3 years.
All right,
that's
so
almost double. He's gone.
So, Claude, who else? We've got one more.
And who else? We need a top class centre. No, we need someone.
Hurry up, mate. By the time you get round and getting, he'd be gone.
No, never mind.
City and Chelsea are hovering.
City and Chelsea are hovering. We need a bit of cover at the back.
This is why we lost Higuain, because of guys like you.
Listen.
Give us
the player. You're going to be surprised here. But centre half to cover. John Stones of Everton.
Stones.
Stones.
Yeah.
Actually, that's not bad. That's not bad. Yeah,
Okay, fair enough. John Stones, Aurier and Benzema. Right, let's go to Cameron.
Yeah. So for forward,
100 mil, mate.
Yep. For forward, I'd probably go for Cavani for forward, and then for defensive mid, Javi Martinez, and then looks like we're going to definitely need a new right back. I like Callum Chambers at Southampton. I think he's really, really talented right back, and he's English as well. Add to the British core.
Better than Jenkinson.
You know what? I would like. I would like to see them compete. I think it'd be good competition. And if Jenkinson is better, then I think it can be only good for the team.
Okay.
Also, I'll be honest with you. I don't have too many gripes about giving Jenkinson a chance in the first team next season. If Sanya leaves. Yeah.
I think also in the transfer market, if we can buy players that have lots of versatility, because we saw with Sanya being able to play center back this year, that really helped out a lot. So maybe
that's what they say about Aurier, isn't it? They say that Aurier can also play centre half as well.
So like if we buy Aurier, he can drop in center half, and then also if we buy maybe a defensive mid that can also drop in center back like Javi Martinez, I think versatility can also help us out a lot.
Michael Richards is another player that's been mentioned, could also do that as a centre half as well.
One thing I heard today, I don't know what I think about this, but I'll ask you guys, is James Milner. Versatile player, he can play right back, right mid, but I don't really see it. I know a lot of people. I saw it was.
Let me ask Charlie, you don't rate no to Milner?
Nah, I'm sorry, man. But I mean, after watching England for all these years, I mean, I'd rather have Jimmy Bullock back in the squad, man. Like, definitely.
To be honest, Charlie, he's had a very good season with James Milner.
Yeah, there's no denying he's had a blind season.
No, I agree with Jack actually, because I think he's
decent this season. What you saying, Claude?
I agree with Jack, because Milner can give us what Parler gave us. I mean, his work rate is fantastic, and in big games, he could be quite a good player to have. I agree with Jack on that. Milner, that's a good shot.
He's no Romford Pele, though, is he?
I'm not saying that we need to buy James Milner exactly, but I think if we can buy players with the same versatility that James
exactly.
I think as well, right? The thing is as well, you always get some players that nobody's really thinking of. I remember last year we were linked.
Gareth Barry.
We were being told heavily that Wenger was going to get a Gareth Barry, and I think almost universally every Arsenal fan was saying, has Wenger lost it? Has he gone off of his head? We've seen Gareth Barry, he's gone to Everton and he's been excellent.
Yeah.
So, you know, sometimes, you know, I mean, let me just go through, I'm just going to run through the players that you selected, right? So, Moran went for Balotelli, Schneiderlin and Aurier, right? That was with his 100 million.
Yeah.
Charlie went Cavani, Javi Martinez and Seamus Coleman.
And Shane Long.
You're only allowed 3, mate. Jack went with Javi Martinez, Cavani, and Alexis Sanchez. I kind of like that 3. I like that 3. Alexis Sanchez, I think, is a real quality. He's also a player that you could convert into a striker as well, I reckon. A very interesting player, Alexis Sanchez. Claude went Benzema, Aurier, and Stones. I'm not sure about Stones.
I know. I like with these young
I like Stones.
I'll give an example. Luke Shaw, who just went to United for 27 mil, he's going to be there for say 10 years. So that's why they paid so much money for him. Stones is 18. Like if we sign him up, he could be here for a while, and who knows what he could develop. And yeah, he has some talent. I agree with Claude.
Yeah. The thing with that is I think Roberto Martinez, he's a pro Stones guy. So
I agree too. Stones, I think I kind of want to be on the England squad as well. But yeah, I think he's.
I'm the voice of reason.
Convinced, man. I'm not convinced.
What are you saying, Claude?
I'm the voice of reason. Can you please?
I see another vine coming on. No, right, listen. He'll have Stones and then he'll be slagging him off as soon as he arrives after he lets him go.
He's a good prospect. A very good prospect.
Cameron for Cavani, Javi Martinez, and Callum Chambers. Callum Chambers, as I said, is he any better than Carl Jenkinson, Cameron?
You know what? I when I think about it, it'd be a toss-up between Callum Chambers and actually John Stones. I know John Stones can play right back and centre half as well, so that's something to think about.
Wait, Stones can play right back too?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's what. So. I mean,
let me give you my 3.
I just think it'd be good, healthy competition. 2 Englishmen fighting for a spot.
Let's see Robbie's 3. His is bound to be interesting, man.
Let's go. Let's see it.
Let me give you my 3. I'm going to try and go for some different players because of the players that you guys have chosen, right? So I am going to stick though with one player that you've all mentioned that I think we should go for. That I think if we don't get this guy, it's this kind of player that Arsenal most definitely need, and that's Javi Martinez. I think he'd be brilliant at Arsenal. He's the sort of player that's disciplined. He will sit in that midfield. He'll do all the stuff that Arteta does at the moment, but he's much better at it. And he's got that physical presence, and he's got that engine. And with Ramsey alongside him, or Jack Wilshere alongside him, and Ozil, they can all go and play with this guy. And this guy can go forward with the ball, distribute. He would be absolutely perfect for Arsenal.
He's a world-class Arteta.
Yeah, the rumours are true that he'd be up for leaving. I think Arsenal should definitely test the resolve of Bayern Munich with like a £30-odd million bid and see that if he'd be willing to go. Other player, Di Maria.
Yeah.
Now, we definitely listen. I love Podolski, but listen, I saw it even in Saturday's game. We don't have that pace on the left-hand side of midfield. We haven't had it. We didn't have it last season. We haven't got it this season. Podolski is not especially in particular games, and everything seems to always go down the right-hand side. Or when we do go right forward with the ball, it's Kieran Gibbs or Monreal carrying it forward. We need somebody in front of them that can hit it with pace. And I think Di Maria on one side, Theo Walcott on the other side, that would terrorise defences. So those two, and then Benzema as a striker. Job done.
Look, if you say about Di Maria, I think if we get Di Maria, all these types of players are kind of in a pool, like Di Maria, Pedro, Sanchez. If one of those three, I think, will be set for that wing position, as you said.
We're more likely to get Tia Maria, never mind Tia Maria.
Jesus.
Claude, that's a quote of the day, mate. I love that. I love that. Listen, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up now. It's been a pleasure having you guys on right throughout the season. There's been some highs, there's been some lows. I mean, who can forget the Chelsea defeats, the Stoke, Everton, Man City away. But you know what? There's been some highs. Arsenal's form at home has been absolutely brilliant. We challenged for most of the season. We were at the top of the league for most of the season. Fans were happy for a lot of it until we had that kind of off period. But we came back strong, and we've won the FA Cup and challenged for the Champions League. And I'm telling you right now, as you guys said earlier, Chelsea would swap places with us right now. Liverpool would swap places with us right now. Tottenham would swap places with us. So it's been a good season. We were the second most successful team in this country this year behind Manchester City, and we know that they've basically fought their position. So I think we can be all really proud as Arsenal fans of what the team's achieved this season, and hopefully we can achieve more. But thank you very much to you guys.
You've my dodgy webcams. My dodgy webcams as well. Webcams.
Much credit to your bathroom as well, Claude.
Yeah, Claude, you know what? The transfer market, mate, you need to go to Maplin's or one of them shops and get yourself a decent bloody computer. That's what you need to do next year. But listen, it's been a pleasure having you, Claude. Well done to you, mate, and the support that you've shown following the team around the country. I'm glad that you was rewarded with that FA Cup win on Saturday. Well done to you, Claude.
Well done to your bathroom as well, Claude.
Cheers, Sam. Cheers.
Well done to your bathroom as well.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah.
Charlie, well done to you, mate.
Thanks, Robbie.
Big shout out to the Global Gooners of Moran, and also to Jack McDonald, who's been doing those hangouts, halftime hangouts, pre-game hangouts, after-game hangouts. These guys have been working their socks off. They've been the Aaron Ramseys of ArsenalFanTV during this season, working their socks off and putting through some good stuff. And also to the other Cameron's done some great stuff as well, and thanks for all the contributions you've done here on the Hangout. And I love the way you've stuck behind Arsene Wenger when everybody else wanted to string him up. You stuck behind him, and you've been vindicated, mate. Because
yeah, I know. I did, didn't I?
No, not you, Claude. Mate.
Robbie, thanks to you, Robbie. Big thanks to you. I know how much work you put into it.
Robbie, you're a legend.
Fantastic. Gives everybody a voice, and you've just built such a large. Well, the channel's nearly at 100,000 subscribers. You built a community of nearly 100,000 people, and it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, thanks very much, mate.
You're a
thanks
legend, Robbie.
And thanks to everybody who's been watching these Hangouts week in, week out. Listen, we're going to be doing, throughout the summer, we'll be doing some transfer specials. We'll be looking at targets. See if Arsenal, as Claude says, sees Arsenal by Tia Maria. Thank you very much, mate. We are the champions. Champions. Good night.